Hey guys, today we're taking a look at my Yubel deck. Now, this was requested by TheMreville and MapforMinecraft. Both of those guys suggested it for me. And actually, I'm very excited about this because I really wanted to make this deck for a long time, and it just happened that I got some requests for it this month. So I thought it would be great that I was able to make this. So I've researched Yubel a lot, tried to think about the kind of card combinations, looked into the type of decks that people were doing, and what I realized is that one of the best types of decks that fits so well with Yubel is Fire Kings. Fire Kings, focus on destroying, and using it with Yubel just creates a really good situation. So, very good combination, and I'll talk about how the deck works. So, if you're familiar with Fire Kings, there won't be too much to explain. Yaksha allows you to destroy cards in your hand, which you can use to destroy Yubel. Barong, allows you to search out really good stuff. The boss Garunix, obviously, we all know is a very powerful card, and works, very well with what you're trying to do. Yubel, obviously, the star of the deck. So, the idea behind Yubel is just getting it out, and then hopefully destroying it the way you want it destroyed to get a powered up version of it. The good thing about Fire Kings is that you kind of have this alternative build along with the deck that Yubel just benefits from. So you have this Fire King power, you have this destruction power, and you have very easy ways to get out the other forms of Yubel, which are very powerful. So the idea is obviously that your opponent can't really attack Yubel, they're going to have to use card effects, and when you have the Fire Kings on top of it, it's going to really annoy them. And once you get out the next Yubel, your opponent's going to have even more trouble because the next Yubel's has even stronger effects. And finally, the last Yubel, the Ultimate Nightmare, very strong effects. The Ultimate Nightmare isn't really the goal, but it's kind of in here just because, you might get it out, based on certain situations. But overall, it's just, getting out Yubel, using those powerful effects, and then, in addition, bringing out the Fire Kings to roll over the opponent if they're going to try to stall or something like that. Along with that, because we're running Tenki, we have Bear. Again, Bear just works really well because the thing about Bear is that if you didn't know, Bear does not require you to target an opponent's monster with, with its destruction ability. So you can use it on the Fire Kings, you could use it on Yubel, another way to destroy things and just setting up things really well. And then we have Tenki, obviously at 3 to search out the Fire Kings and for Bear. MST. MST is very important, I should just mention, just because card effects can be your bane depending on which ones. If Yubel gets banished, you'll be in trouble. Then we also have Onslaughter of the Fire Kings, obviously, and the other Fire King spell, Circle of the Fire Kings. Those two, obviously, are always run at 3 because of how powerful they are in a Fire Kings type build. And then Dark Hole, obviously, in most decks, but in this deck especially, is very useful. And then Generation Shift, so really interesting card. Basically allowing you to destroy monsters and search out that monster. So you get the Fire King's abilities, you get the Yubel abilities, and you restock your hand with those cards. So very powerful in this deck. Running 3, you can run less, but it's still very useful. Call the Haunted, very important for this type of deck because you want to bring things back, and even if they get destroyed, it's not a really big deal. One of the easiest ways to summon Yubel. Safe Zone is another really interesting card that you can use with this deck. So it kind of allows you to protect Yubel in an interesting way. It kind of leads to destruction in a different way too, so it can really annoy your opponent. Yubel's not going to be attacking directly, so it's not really a big deal. And then just the staple traps in here, not too much to say there. So for the extra deck, we're going to mostly have staple 4-star XYZs, but in addition to that, we're going to have 3 Diamond Dire Wolves. Obviously, with this deck, just makes so much sense with its destruction ability, and the fact that a lot of, the Fire Kings can benefit from it, but also the fact that they, are targets that you can use to wipe out your opponent's field instead of just using Diamond Dire Wolf. And then, staple ones, the new ones, Silent Honor and Exciton, putting those in all my decks. Daigusto for recycling, Lavalo Chain to get what you need, also good for getting Yubel to the graveyard. With all these Beast Warriors, Tiger King really useful. And a few 8 stars, Tachyon and Heretic Sun if you want to do some, more powerful things. Not much to say about the extra deck, pretty understandable. So for the side deck, in my side decks, they're just kind of recommended cards that if you're going to build this type of deck, you might want to consider. It's not a side deck for matches. So a lot of my side deck is going to be focused on more of the other kind of build. The Fire Kings build is pretty, there's not a lot of room for like creativity in the Fire Kings build. You can mix around a few things, but you don't want to change too much. The amount of Yubel you have, you can change. You can add in that like Phoenix card or whatever that also benefits with the Fire Kings. So you can add in some of that. But most of my side deck is just going to be talking about the other ways that you can kind of get out Yubel and serve the deck. So Stygian Street Patrol, obviously to summon it easily. Chaos End Master, another way to easily summon it. Mechlord Emperor, obviously a great card in this type of deck with destruction effects going on. Armageddon Knight, Dark Grepher, very helpful for getting Yubel to the graveyard. Double cost on, easy way to tribute summon Yubel. Mystic Tomato, another way to get it out. Foolish Burial, getting it to the graveyard. Fires of Doomsday, tribute fodder. These last few cards, just want to talk about them quickly. Cards like Savage Coliseum and Light of Intervention and Final Attack Orders, those cards can create a very bad situation for your opponent if you have Yubel out. So that's an interesting setup you can do. I'm not focused on it. It requires a lot of resources, but that field situation will really mess your opponent up, and it's kind of very, very cool if you can do it. Another card you can use is something like Thunder Crash, kind of like Dark Hole, allowing you to destroy your monsters. Can be very useful in this deck. Limit Reverse is an alternative to Call the Haunted, but it requires another turn, in order to do the thing where you switch it to defense and destroy your card. So that can be useful. The problem is it's only useful for Yubel, so in this deck it's going to be kind of troublesome because you can't use it on any of your other monsters. And then finally, a Dark Illusion, just another thing that you can use to kind of counter things that are focused on destroying Yubel. So a lot of different cards that can help you get Yubel out, help protect it, and set up the field. It's kind of like an alternative to the Fire King's build. There's a lot of other cards I can probably think of, like that Phoenix I said before. There's a bunch of other stuff that support dark monsters and can probably help with Yubel. But, this is my build. I just think Fire Kings work so well with this. It's just kind of a perfect match for Yubel. But if you guys have your own Yubel deck, doesn't matter what kind it is, post below, let me know in the comments. Give me suggestions for what cards you'd like to see in this deck. Also, if you like this video, you can subscribe or hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more decks from me, you can check the playlist in my description. One of them has a list of all the decks I've made so far. Another one has a list of all the decks I've made for this current ban list. You can also check the description for all my contact info. If you want to tweet me, follow me on Twitter, all that stuff. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.